TV. Join the info war today.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe. Our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. My life has value. I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
We're live, ladies and gentlemen.
Right, get up.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be live at prisonplanet.tv, streaming the prisonplanet.tv members for the next hour and 50 minutes till the end of the radio show. Alan Watt is with us for the balance of the broadcast today. We're going to cover the news with him in the next 30 minutes, and then open phones for Alan Watt and, of course, myself, Alex Jones, for the rest of this transmission, December 17th, 2008. Seems like this year just started a few days ago, and now it is already almost over. Interest rates have been cut by zero, further destroying the dollar. The Federal Reserve is openly taking over the United States. $8.5 trillion stolen. That number's 2 weeks old. They're telling Congress and the media, even after FOIA suits, that they will not release the information. Remember, they promised it would all be public. This is all by design. And scores of news articles and the Army War College are reporting that the military is training to attack the American people, and rules of engagement to not just use microwave guns and sound cannons, but bullets. It says the American people are going to rebel against them. The Ministry of Defense last year in England admitted this. The Defense Department this year has admitted it in a new report out on prisonplanet.com. I want to talk to Alan Watt with known and unknown unconventional strategic shocks in defense strategy development. And this gets into, it says right here, their fight with the American people. So the question is, will the social engineers be able to bring in this worldwide depression that they engineered publicly and then pose as saviors and then set up openly their world government where we will pay our taxes directly to the private banking institutions? This is now being announced. I want to now go to Alan Watt of Cutting Through the Matrix. Alan Watt is a prolific researcher on the true nature of the global elite and their master plan from their source documents and their own agenda. And it is good to have Alan Watt with us today. Alan, thank you for coming on.
It's a pleasure to be on.
Alan, I know you're a news hound like myself because I follow your work, and I know you've been covering the fact that hundreds of major newspapers, including the Wall Street Journal, the Financial Times of London, and others, are all reporting that yes, we had a secret world government. Yes, we set up a secret world government. Yes, we've been soothing you and lying to you. They even say this for your own good in the article, and now for world government by Mr. Rakeman in the Financial Times of London last Tuesday. They admit that it's tyrannical, anti-democratic, but they say it's for your own good to save us from global warming and terrorism, which we know they're staging, and the financial crisis, which we know they're implementing. Why are they now in hundreds of publications, hundreds, you can Google New World Order and Google News, thousands, around 5,400 links come up in the last few months. Why are they suddenly announcing it? Don't they understand that the people finally are seeing that it's real and that they are the authors of our doom? Why is New York announcing New York State, 88 new taxes on food and drink and iPods and taxis. Why are they trying to squeeze us into conflict? So, A, why are they openly announcing their world government, admitting it's tyrannical, anti-democratic, social engineering? And B, why are they pushing us with all these new taxes, knowing it will cause rebellion, as we've seen worldwide?
What they're doing is simply implementing the next part of this plan. They've had years of creating what they call apathy, and they started that agenda back in the 60s, in fact, the creation of apathy. The idea was to estrange the people from the idea that somehow they took part in making the future, deciding the future, to estrange the governments from the very people themselves, and to encourage the people to leave it to the better people, the ones who really dealt with the higher decision-making policies. In other words, they divided us, they cut us off from participating really in government and the creation of our future. They've put us off the path of creating our own destiny. And most people today, after survey that's been churned out for the last 30 years, keeps showing that fewer and fewer people bother to even vote. They leave it to the higher decisions to what they call the experts. So what they're doing now is putting that home to the public and creating more apathy. The statements really leave you with a feeling that everything's out of your hands. There's nothing you can do. That's the other message you get subliminally. And get ready for tough times coming. Just accept it. They're trying to tell you it's so overwhelming, there's nothing you can do. That really is the message. It's psychological warfare to the extreme.
Well, I concur with you. And in fact, as you know, they talk about in hundreds and hundreds of declassified government psychology tests, starting with rats and then with other primates and then humans, that if they just shock you with overwhelming information, that it creates a feeling of hopelessness, and many people go into a catatonic state and detach and roll over. But we also have a lot of Pentagon studies going back to the 50s and then again in the 70s and 80s where they studied the Western world and said within 3 to 4 days, rioting breaks out over no food. And within 15 days, basically everybody becomes mad killers who will kill for food. So it looks like they're pushing us into a crisis where they know we won't just be apathetic and will actually fight back. Look at Greece. Look at Iceland. Look at Argentina. All over the world, riots now starting worldwide. We have the establishment then trying to push those riots, with Martin coming out today and well, not Martin now, Harper coming out saying we're going to have a depression, with the head of the IMF saying we're going to have worldwide rioting if we don't fix the economy, when we know they engineered the crisis. So with your expertise, try to break down for us, please, what exactly is happening here and what this cocktail is of trying to get us to rebel and fight back while at the same time trying to soothe us and getting us to go along.
What we have to look at first is not so much what's happening, but what's the long-term goal. And when they tell you they're going to have rioting for about 30 years worldwide, and they're telling you as well that they have to get the world to accept the fact that rapid deployment and reaction troops will be sent all over the globe from one country to the other, to each other as well. And you're going to see that in 30 years of psychological training, with riots breaking out in different countries and being quelled one at a time, after 30 years we'll have a brand new society where we accept that the old way is completely eradicated. The old way of choosing what you want to do with your life, where you're going to go with your life, where you want to live, who you want to marry, all of that stuff. You want to earn money for yourself, that's gone as well. It's a brand new world that's to come out at the end of this whole agenda. So we're going to see the sporadic outbreaks in certain parts until it's standard daily news for 30 years. The troops have been deployed in Brazil. The troops have been deployed in The Hague. Will be deployed in Norway, Finland, the U.S., or parts of the U.S., and that will be our standard fare for 30 years.
And we've now seen tens of millions a year given to Mexico alone to suddenly militarize and put troops in black uniforms on every street corner and then start wars with the drug cartels they don't control to further escalate the problem, reaction, solution crises that they are openly engineering. I'm going to put up on screen, and now for world government, from the Financial Times of London, I mean, again, just incredibly arrogant to be throwing this in our face. Please continue.
It's arrogant too, and also when you go into the whole UN agenda, you can't really understand this until you look at the UN agenda with all of its umbrella organizations working on the same agenda to